great Monday and welcome to the Coach Show, where women life and business coaches come to be educated, equipped, and empowered to coach with confidence and lead with transformational power. Join me, Coach P, right here on the Life and Business Coach campus every Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to package your brilliance, optimize your performance, and bring harmony to your life.
Well, great Friday evening and welcome to a special edition of the Coach Show. This again is Friday evening and I'm tired, y'all. It's been a long week, but I'm here. Yes, I am. And I'm here because I got to help you hit your goals. Do we have anybody out there, any coaches out there who are ready to hit their goals? Well, that's why I'm coming to you tonight, because tomorrow I have something special to share with you. But tonight I'm going to give you some nuggets, if you don't mind. So we are live. We're live on Facebook as well as Instagram. So hello, as well as YouTube. And so I want to say hello to everybody. Come on in here. Not unless you're out on a hot date. If you're out on a hot date, go ahead and catch the replay. Okay, I got you. All right. So we are sponsored by the Life and Business Coach Campus. So ladies, if you have not joined the Life and Business Coach Campus yet, make sure you do. The Life and Business Coach Campus can be found on Facebook. And we are going strong and sharing tons of nuggets, tons of training in there. So please join us on the Life and Business Coach Campus. And please do like, share, and comment. Talk back to me, okay? Because I'm all about giving. I'm all about giving the value. And I'm excited about tonight's topic. It's about helping you hit your goals. I'm all about hitting those goals. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So please join in. Grab your notebooks, grab your pen, and grab a friend, okay? As we talk about real quick on how to hit those goals. I know it's Friday night. I know most of you had a long week. I know I have, but you know what? We got to stay focused, even if it's just for a minute. Who do we have joining here? Hey, Kevin Robinson. Hello there. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by and saying hello to me. Kevin, tonight I'm talking about hitting goals, all right? So I know you know all about hitting those goals. And so let me go ahead and jump right on in. So the first tip, I'm going to give you 5 tonight, okay? 5 tips to making sure that you stay on target and hit those goals. The first tip is to define your goal. What is the goal? Okay? Why do you want to make it happen? All right? So you want to be very, very clear on what that goal is. And look at, why you want to make that goal happen. Look at what it's going to take to make that goal happen, and envision it, breathe it, sleep it, dream it, be it, right? We can't just say we're going to hit the goal. We've got to say it. We've got to define what it is. What is it going to look like when you hit the goal? We want to think about that, right? So that's one of the most critical elements to hitting a goal. It is dreaming it and being in it first, envisioning it in your mind's eye, right? So you see it in your mind's eye. You prayed about it. If you're a prayer, you pray about it. You see it in your mind's eye. You envision you being right there, that you have accomplished that goal. What is it going to feel like? What are you going to be able to do because as a result of accomplishing that goal? Okay. So that's the very first thing we want to do in order to hit a goal. You got to define it. All right. And be very clear on what that goal is. Number 2, you've got to assess your capacity. Now, most people might say, put a date on it, right? After you define the goal, put a date on it. But what I'm going to share with you is that before you put a date on it, assess your capacity. Because to me, and the way that I operate, the way that I teach, the way that I coach, is that after we define a goal, we have to then assume responsibility to make that happen. In order to assume responsibility, we have to make sure that we can show up for ourselves to hit that goal. So if our schedules are overloaded and we're taxed, we don't have time, will we ever hit the goal? The answer is no. So we got to make sure that we have the capacity to take on the goal, to define it, to hit it, to set the date. Okay. So once we assess our capacity, how much time are we going to allot in our schedules to make that goal happen? All right. How much of us is it going to take, right, to hit the goal? Will we have to compromise a little bit with the family in terms of our family time? Will we have to compromise in other areas of our lives in order to, or sacrifice a little bit, right? So what is that going to look like? So assess your capacity, right? Who else is joining us tonight? Oh, this is good. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. So assess your capacity. What it's going to take, because sometimes, Kevin, we get excited, right? We envision a goal and we see it. We get hungry for it. And we're so hungry for it that our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, right? So we get so hungry and it's like, wow, I want it. And you get all this food, right? But you can't eat it because your stomach is smaller and your eyes were bigger, right? And your appetite was huge, but we can't consume it all because we don't have the room for it, right? So we got to make sure that we assess our capacity. That's number 2. All right, let's move on into number 3. Let's see what you got to say. Comments. I love it. I've started two more businesses and I need this. Oh, Kevin. Oh, I'm so excited you're here. That's why God had me come on tonight. If it's just for you, Kevin, I am here. I am here. Hello there, Keisha. Nakisha out of my realtor out of Texas. Oh, she is making some big things happen, Nakisha. Thank you for chiming in tonight. But that's what it takes. Nakisha knows how to hit some goals. If y'all need a house in Texas, Nakisha is the woman to see. All right. She's making some big things happen there in Texas. But Kevin, I am so glad that you're here tonight. So let me keep going. All right. So now let me get that off. Hold 1 second. Let me take that off. Okay. All right. So that you can see. So assess your capacity. So 1 was what? Define the goal, right? The second is to assess your capacity to make that goal happen, to make room for it. All right. And then let me also say this. Not only after you define the goal, and in assessing your capacity, we also have to make sure that we connect to those who are going to support us in this goal. Now, we don't share that goal with everybody. We only share on an as needed basis. All right. As needed, meaning everybody don't need to know. Right. So if it's family, we've got to make sure that we, talk to our family about it and our significant others. Why? Because if you're an entrepreneur and maybe your spouse or your significant other is not an entrepreneur, it's a different mindset, isn't it? As an entrepreneur, it's a totally different mindset when we talk about goals and we talk about business. If your spouse or your significant other is not in business, they really don't understand. If they have a 9 to 5, that's a different mentality. And we're not passing judgment, but it's just different, right? So we have got to, as entrepreneurs, we're visionaries, right? So we see the big dream, we see the big goal, we already are in it, right? We're sleeping, eating it, breathing it, we can see it, we can envision it. Well, we've got to make sure in terms of assessing that capacity, will it put a strain on my relationship? Will it put a strain on, does it fit in the family's goals? Got to make sure you do that. I just want to make sure I said that tonight, because sometimes we can be so gung-ho as entrepreneurs, but we don't take into account of the people, I should say the important people around us, right? And making sure that everything is copacetic. Remember that word copacetic? That's an OG word. OG, copacetic. Make sure that the home front is copacetic. All right. So got to make sure that we do that. Awesome. Okay. Next, the third thing we want to do is then set the date. A goal is not a goal until the date is set. We can talk all day long about the goal, about the vision, about what we want to see happen. But if we do not, I repeat, if we do not set a date, it is not a goal. All right. So we've got to have a date set for the goal. All right. I love it. And Nakisha says, great point. Does it fit within the family, in the family goals? That's right. Does it fit within the family goals? Even before we even talk about business goals, we've got to talk about the family goals, right? So we should always incorporate our family goals into the business goals, right? And so setting that date is important. And giving ourselves enough time to hit that goal is important. Giving yourself enough time because, okay, let's talk marketing. We know that in marketing, it really does take a good, it depends on what you're launching, right? It depends on, how big the goal is. So the bigger the goal, the more time you need to begin to drop the nuggets, drop the seeds, drop the value as it relates to whatever that goal is, right? So here we talk about coaching, and in coaching, we have programs that we launch, right? So if it's a large program, like we're right in the middle of a launch right now, so it takes time to help people understand what you're doing. What is the program about? How am I going to benefit from that program that you're offering, right? So that takes time. So we need to give value around that. We need to make sure that we're educating our ideal clients, right? So Kevin, I don't know what kind of business you're in, but if you do want to drop that in comments, I can speak to whatever business you're in. But marketing is marketing is marketing. It doesn't matter if you're in coaching. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer and you have your own engineering firm or your own real estate firm. It doesn't matter. Marketing, marketing, marketing is the key. Education, education, education is the key when it comes to really securing business and developing relationship, right, with your ideal clients. And so we got to make sure when we're setting that date that we're taking everything into account. We got to make sure that we have enough time to market. We've got to make sure we have enough time to follow up. If there are any important conversations that we need to have around it, we need to make sure that we set time aside for creating collateral to help market whatever you're going to, whatever your goal is, whatever you're launching, right? You got to make time for that in terms of developing your ad copy, all of that. Any advertisements, if you're going to do any ads, Facebook takes at least 24 hours. Sometimes it's less to actually approve the ad, right? So we got to build in that extra time and consider that time whenever we're launching goals or launching any products or services. Okay. So let me see. Kevin says, trfgnc.com. You real estate. Oh, Kevin, you're in real estate. I got my real estate family in here in the house. Nakisha, I don't know where you are. Kevin, where are you? Are you in North Carolina? He's in real estate and restaurant consulting. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Kevin. Let me put that up so everybody can see that. So, Kevin, let us know what state you're in. Real estate and restaurant consulting, and Nakisha is in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I'm not sure how far you go out, Nakisha. If you want to put that in, I will share that as well. Okay. Bessemer City, is that in here in Alabama? Okay, Bessemer City, North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina, excellent. Okay, so Kevin is down in North Carolina, and you see what he does. So Kevin, I know he needs some clients, real estate and restaurant consulting. All right, and Nakisha said, yes, Kevin. All right, Kevin. So yes, so make sure that we always build in time when we're talking about our goals. Build in time and consider all aspects of your marketing plan. Okay, consider all aspects and make sure that you've taken into account you take into account exactly what the plan looks like. Okay, and who needs to be a part of the plan. For instance, if you have to delegate a part of the marketing, you've got to make sure that the person that you're delegating to has the capacity, okay, and they're on the same wavelength or the time frame as you. Okay, if they need, say maybe, for instance, if you have to have a graphic created, okay, if your graphic artist needs, their turnaround time is 5 to 7 days instead of 24 hours, then you got to make sure that you take into account what that looks like. Okay, so when we're setting dates, okay, so all of that needs to be taken into account as we are setting a date. All right. So the fourth thing that we need to do when we're focused on hitting a goal is to identify the resources needed. Okay. So, we might say set the date and then identify the resources needed, or do we identify the resources needed first and then set the date? Well, you could do both, right? You could do either or. You could go ahead and identify those resources right after you assess your capacity. That might be the thing to do, right? So I assess your capacity, identify the resources that you need, and then set your date. Because some of those resources it may take a little bit longer to acquire them. Or again, if you're dealing with other people's schedules, you may need more time. Okay. So then we would have to reset a date. So before we even set a date, identify those resources needed and then set that date. Okay. Again, depending on what that goal is. And then last but not least, number 5 is show up Do the work and keep pressing, even when you can't see it. Sometimes we can't see the goal. Sometimes it's looking real crazy. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Because I do. Sometimes it really does. It seems like, wow, I set this goal. I've worked really hard to achieve this goal, but it just does not seem to be coming together. So that's when we have to pray. That's when we have to look at our plan. And then we got to watch our numbers. That's the other thing, important thing that we have to do. We have to make sure that we pay attention to the rule of the third. That means this: if your goal is, say, 10 clients, then you want to have at least 100 people attend an information session, connect with at least 100 people. And it's not just any 100 people, Kevin and Nakisha, it is your ideal client. Okay, so 100 of your ideal client. Say you're doing an open house for real estate, right? 100 people, you want to make sure that you get a flyer in the hand. You want to make sure that you get it out. If you have an email list, get that listing out to at least 100 people. So in that 100, 30 will probably RSVP if you're doing like a private showing or something like that. So 30, a third of them will probably RSVP. And then a third of them, of those who RSVP, if it's 30, then a third of them will come, which means about 10 will show. And of the 10 that show, 3 may place the bid. Okay. So let me know, Nakisha, you may be a little bit more, and it depends on what your closing ratio is. I must say that too. Okay. In terms of your numbers, it depends on how you're doing with your marketing, and then the type of relationships that you have with the people, right? If you've been nurturing relationships. So the more you nurture the relationship, the more you stay in front of your ideal client, the more likely that your ratio will that will decrease. So maybe instead of 30, you might have close to 20 coming because of who you are and the relationship that you have with them. Makes sense? Okay, so then you would have more interested who will show up, and then more who may even put it in contract for it, right? So we always have to pay attention to our numbers as business owners. And it doesn't matter if you are a coach, it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent, or like I said, if you own your engineering firm. It's all about those numbers. Okay, so we're going to set those goals. So let me go ahead and recap, and then Mama and I are going out for, we say ice, she calls it ice cream, but it's actually Smoothie King. All right, Smoothie King. We don't do anything dairy related. So we're going to Smoothie King for Peanut Power Plus tonight. That is our date night. All right. So again, let me recap. Tonight was all about allowing me to help you set your goals. So how do we set a goal? Number one, we've got to define that goal. Number two, we want to assess our capacity. Okay. Number three, we can set that date, but before we set that date, we may need to identify resources needed. So that would be number 4. Okay. So you may need to identify resources for number 3, and then set your date number 4, or you might want to go ahead and set the date if you already have your resources. Okay. And then finally, we want to show up, we want to do the work, and then we want to keep pressing even when we don't see it. All right. So those are my 5 tips to hitting your goals and making sure that you hit those goals. Now, I have something else for you tonight. Tomorrow, I have a free opportunity for you. It's a mid-year strategy session. We are halfway through 2022. All right. And we want to make sure that we hit those goals. So this was just a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And men, Kevin, sure, you can come on. Come on. I want to talk to serious entrepreneurs. All right. Coaches who are serious, entrepreneurs who are serious. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be leading that session, and we're all going to roll up our sleeves, get to work, and make sure that we're on target to hit our goals tomorrow at noon. Okay, so if you're interested, I'm going to drop that link after we close tonight. I'll drop the link in comments, and you can go ahead and register. So it's free, but you've got to register. All right. And then at 10 a.m., I should say, 10 a.m., I'm excited because I'm having an information session for my this is one of the largest launches of my career as a coach, right? And it's a 12-week Coach with Confidence online program that we're launching, and it is groundbreaking. It is game-changing. And tomorrow I will be sharing sharing all of the details on how it's going to help coaches develop their businesses and move in their business with ease. All right. So it is truly groundbreaking. And I've worked really hard. My team and I have worked really hard to make sure that it happens, that after 12 weeks, you're ready to go. You've got all your systems in place, every funnel, your brand, your website, your coaching model, your marketing plan. Everything is in will be intact in 12 weeks, and you will have clients in 12 weeks. So I'm so excited, y'all. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, Central Time, I will be sharing all of the details. So if you know of someone who's a coach, who is either interested in coaching or a seasoned coach who really could use the next level or ready to go to the next level. So I'm looking for ambitious coaches, all right? I'm looking for ambitious coaches who are ready to go to that next level or who are ready to say, you know what, I've been called to coach. I just need to know how. How do I make it happen? You may be great at coaching. Maybe you're a certified coach, right? But the systems and how to operate the business, you're unsure about the operations and how to make it all work and how to generate those clients. That's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow at 10 a.m. And that's what the program is all about. So join me at 10 a.m. If you're interested, just put interested. I'm going to drop both links in comments. Go ahead, sign up. But I'm excited. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night. Friday night. So y'all go ahead, go on your dates now. Y'all free to go. Or like I said, watch the replay. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there. God bless you. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye-bye.